Quarters. Grateful that you've joined us. Grateful that you're watching us recorded. For all of the community that is part of Crown Council, we are thankful to you. Thankful for this weekly program where we get to check in with members, resource partners, team members, live events, humanitarian trips, all the great things that make this group what it is, so you feel like you do not practice alone. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to recap some of our humanitarian trips that have finished in the last month. We're going to check in with one of our resource partners, and I am going to do a quick update and housekeeping about what's going on here at the office. Right now, we are under 80 days till we gather together the Crown Council membership at the annual event in Salt Lake City. On crowncouncil.com, if you go to annual event, right here up at the top, you can see all the information about the show, what is the annual event, registering, gathering, and then we've got a very detailed calendar of everything that's going to be happening during the annual event in Salt Lake City. Our speakers, our check-in experience, our nighttime activities, and specifically everything that you can learn and take home from being part of the Crown Council annual event. This is our yearly gathering, and we want every team, every spouse, every team member to be with us. We're so excited to plan. It takes us over a year to plan and prepare for you to be with us. But this is where the best of the best come together to learn, to grow together, a bit of a family reunion type of a feel. But we are looking forward to being together as we're putting on our final touches of everything that's going to be happening at the Crown Council annual event. I've produced some reasons here why you would want to attend, and I'm going to share one of those real quick. Why you would want to be part of the Crown Council annual event. Let's pick one here. I'm going to pick Natalie. Let's see what she has to say about connecting with friends at the annual event.
I'm Natalie Egbert. I work for Utah Valley Dental Lab in the Special Events and Education Department. Oh, my first year attending an annual event was 2002. I think it was 2002, Salt Lake City. The difference in the annual event between then and now. Some of my favorite things that I've noticed is so many of the same faces. I love coming in, seeing my friends. Sometimes this is the only time I get to see those friends and reconnect and see what they're doing. Rejuvenating, recharging. It feels like it's the boost I need to start the new year and to reevaluate my goals, check in on what my goals are, check in on what our colleagues are doing, what their goals are. A lot of our clients are here, and so it's a good opportunity to check in and find out what they're hoping to accomplish the next year and see how we can help. It means community. Use the word community, and it means community. It's a group of like-minded people who are heading the same direction we are. It's being together with them and finding out what ideas they're having, where they want to go, what direction we want to go. Can we help them get there? It's a great place to see what people are doing that's new, find out what other collaborations might benefit us and benefit them. If you're wondering where your place in the Crown Council is, I would say that everyone has a place here. Importantly, teams, colleagues and partners. You don't have to be a specific role in a dental office because everyone is here. Everyone can work together, find out where their people are, find out where to go to ask questions and hear new ideas. So I'm a resource partner. I work for a dental lab. It's kind of easy to find where we would fit talking to dental offices on what they're doing, but we can also work with other partners here and find out what they're doing. In the dental office, we can talk to the dentist. We can work with the team members and find out ways that they can get more out of their labs. Brainstorm with them on what they're needing from their lab. Helps us know what we can provide to our clients a little bit better. I love that we spend time with our clients and with people who aren't our clients. We can talk to them and have candid conversations and learn from them as well. Schedule it, put it on your calendar, start looking forward to it, get engaged, get involved, read the weekly emails, get on the forum and see what other people are talking about. And most importantly, make friends and associations while you're here. Those are the most valuable parts of being here, is those associations and the friends that you make and the connections that you make. Oh, I love being at the annual event. It's on my calendar. I look forward to it. It gives me something to plan for. I have goals that I set to have accomplished when I'm here, and every time I leave the annual event, I leave with more goals and more benchmarks that I want to hit for the next year and more friends.
All right, very good.
I'm now
We would love to have you with us. We're looking for about 80 more signups to join the Crown Council annual event. So there's plenty of room, plenty of seats for you if you're just now thinking about it or want to be part of the group here in Salt Lake City. So it's January 29th, 30th, and 31st, 2026. Go to crowncouncil.com and please gather with us. All right, we've got our guest, Alan Tuig, is with us. We have had Alan from Ben Erickson the last couple times. I'm going to ask DJ to bring him in. I know he's in the waiting room, but Alan has been with us a couple times this summer, and this is Alan, I believe, our third scheduled meet and greet here. Alan, I mean, this is our third. This is great. This has been, although it feels like we've met a lot. It's been a long time since you were on last. So grateful to have you back.
Yes, happy to be here.
Very good. That is a very trained response for Crown Council culture. Happy to be here. Very good.
Well, it's actually true. I have to say, I enjoy these.
Yeah, if you would have said no problem, then I would have known that it was we had some.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Alan, for those that don't know who you are, would you mind introducing yourself and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So, Alan Twig, president of Ben Erickson and Associates. And sorry about my voice. I feel like I'm losing my voice. It's like I went to a concert last night and I was cheering all night. That's what it feels like, as I'm losing my voice, but it's just from talking too much. I wish I had gone to a concert. But so Ben Erickson and Associates, we are an HR consulting firm. We help practices with all things HR, advice, employee handbooks, how to handle employee situations, job descriptions, all that fun stuff. So that's who we are. And we're a bunch of HR professionals. We enjoy talking about HR and helping people with HR.
Remind me where you are right now, Alan. Where are you coming from?
Oregon, Eugene, Oregon.
Eugene, Oregon. Now, curveball for you. Any interesting facts about Alan that would surprise listeners to know about you, to learn about you?
Well, I don't know if they're surprising. I am an avid mountain biker and enjoy doing that. Not so much this time of year, but more so in the summer.
Yeah.
In college, I was a rower on the rowing team, and our team the last season we had, we actually won first place at regionals and got sixth at nationals, and we got to actually row over in England on the Thames River and Henley Royal Regatta. So that's kind of a fun thing that
is awesome.
Happy about.
Which team is that?
It was called Orange Coast College. It was a 2-year school in Southern California that actually had a really good rowing program. We were able to beat a lot of 4-year schools and all that too. So yeah, it's really cool.
Boys in the Boat. Look at you. Awesome. Very cool.
Yes. Read the book. The movie was okay, but read the book. Boys in the Boat.
Yeah, great book. I feel like maybe next time we connect, we're going to need like a bit of a slideshow about your crew career. I want to see pics.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
I was a lot skinnier back then. So.
Hey, I know we've had very specific topics when you've joined us last time. I know that you've come prepared, and I'm going to, I guess, turn the time over to you for the rest. You can take as long as you want. Our next segment is recorded, so we're not bound by time constraints here. So whatever you've got prepared, Alan, we're ready.
All right. Well, I'll share my screen. I've just got a few slides to share with folks, because what we're doing today is we're sort of continuing a journey that we started at the last two.
Okay.
So just to kind of rewind back. So the first one that we did in this series was kind of about common HR problems that practices face. And then the last one was all about recruiting and hiring and onboarding. So it's like, once we've kind of gotten ourselves in compliance, laid that foundation, then we can bring people into our practice. And then today's thing is all about, once we have the people, how do we, in a sense, motivate them to do amazing work, and how do we potentially correct issues that come up? Okay. So that's what we'll talk about today, and we'll dive right in.
Let's do it. Nice.
All right. So the context for this is kind of the same as what we talked about last time. So we're in a really tight labor market. There's a lack of supply of qualified, trained, experienced, wonderful, amazing attitude people out there. The forecasts for the next few years are not all that great. problem may actually get a little bit worse. I'm a little bit encouraged by all the big news about layoffs at big companies and all of that. I'm not happy for those people, but it does mean that there are more people out there looking for work. So for those of us in the dental field who are trying to hire people, I know there's pros and cons to hiring people from outside of dental, but, there may be more people out there who will respond to stuff. We also have DSO pressure because of just, the endless pressure on that and the business model and so on. Patients have higher expectations. They're more informed. And so all of this means that the retention of really good employees is critical, because if we can retain our good employees and we don't have a revolving door, we'll have better patient outcomes, our case acceptance goes up, and overall, it's just a much better work environment. And so it just means that our team needs to succeed. It means our HR systems need to succeed, and we need to do whatever we can to kind of stack the deck in our favor in that regard. Now, it's important to remember that everyone is doing the best that they can, which is sometimes terrifying. This is funny. It's also a little bit true that there are bad employees out there, and we'll talk about that in a minute. It's also true that as the leader, our job is to develop people as best we can, to really build them up, to set them up for success, and to recognize that really amazing teams are built. They don't just happen by accident. And as the leader, it's our job to really, take steps to create that in our practices. So there's kind of two main paths that we go down in the world of performance management. And one is positive, and that's appreciation and recognition, employee engagement, and so on. And then, of course, there's corrective, which is where we're seeing someone do something that we don't want them to do, and we're correcting them. Now, one thing that is sort of a blend of the two is a performance review, kind of your classic annual performance review. The theory is that you are outlining everything that this person is doing right, everything they're doing wrong, and then the theory is they get that, they improve their, their behavior and so on. It sounds simple and it sounds logical in theory. In theory, the performance review should be working, but if you look at some of these stats, it's really not working. The reality is, especially those bottom two, that 30% of performance reviews actually end up with decreased performance, and that most bosses just don't think it's a good use of their time. So the reality of kind of this classic annual performance review is that it's been dying a slow death for a long time. Now, that does not mean, if you're listening, that doesn't mean that you get to say, okay, cool, that means I don't have to do anything.
Right.
Because the reality is, if you don't do anything and you don't communicate anything to your team members, that also is detrimental, because when there's no communication at all, people tend to assume the negative, and overall motivation and workload and performance and everything goes down. So you still have to do something. So what should you do? So one idea is this idea of just, if you see something, say something. It can be as brutally simple as that. It's just, if you see someone do something good, tell them. If you see someone do something bad, tell them. It doesn't have to be a big formal thing. It doesn't have to be every single month, every quarter, every year. It can just be as you go along. Another model, or another little framework that I really like, is from Scott Galloway, and it's just this idea of no mercy, no malice. So it's recognizing that you don't want to sugarcoat your feedback, and you don't want to ignore areas where someone's performance is below your standards, because that creates all kinds of problems. But you can go into that without malice. You can go into that with a positive mindset, a growth mindset, and so on. And also, this is where performance reviews, classic performance reviews, really come back to bite people in the dental practice, because we work so closely with our employees chair side every single day. There's a temptation when you do a performance review to really sugarcoat the bad stuff and kind of go, well, I'm going to bring this up because I don't want someone to start crying, or I don't want them to be mad at me for the rest of the week, because we got to work together and all that. And when you do that with a performance review, it can come back to bite you if you do need to get rid of someone, and then that performance review comes to light, and someone like a lawyer, state labor board says, oh, hey, this person's performance looked pretty good in this performance review, so why did you fire them? So that's one of the pieces. If I came into your practice and I picked, let's say, 3 random employees, and I said, hey, how does Dr. Stewart think you are doing in your job? All of them should be able to tell me how they are doing in their job. It shouldn't be a thing where some of them are going, well, some days I think I'm just going to get fired. I have no idea. And then other days I feel like I'm doing a good job. It should be clear if anyone were to come into your office and ask your employees. And then another tactic that has been really popular for a long time is goal setting, because goal setting is all about focusing on the future and not focusing on the past. A performance review is all about looking at the past, which we can't change. Goal setting is about setting some objectives for the future. So the way this works is that the owner of the practice or the leadership team, they establish the practice's goals, so high-level practice goals, short-term and long-term. Then it's about determining which employees can impact those goals, whatever they might be. And it may also be, if you're a larger practice, that there's actually teams of employees that are, setting that up. Goal setting should be a dialogue. So it's you sitting down saying, hey, look, these are our practice goals. I think you would be perfect in helping us achieve these goals. And here's kind of what that might look like. Obviously, it's future focused. So it's over the next 6 months, 9 months, we are going to achieve these goals. And it really then becomes very objective and factual, because it's like, we are going to digitize this process. We're going to implement this new technology. I want you to get this new certification or take this course or whatever it might be. It's very objective. And at the end of this 6-month, 9-month period, you will either have achieved this goal or you haven't. So it's kind of a built-in performance review in a way. You can also consider using your job description, because that also objectifies the process. These are the expectations of the job, and you can pick some of those, and that's part of goal setting as well. And really, it's goal setting ultimately is kind of an invitation. It's you as the leader saying to your employee, hey, this is where we're going, and I'm inviting you to join us on this journey down this path. And here's what that would look like. So that's goal setting, kind of an alternative to a classic annual performance review. Now, ultimately, whatever works, works. So there is absolutely no rule that says you have to do goal setting or you have to do annual performance reviews or you have to do anything. It is absolutely based on your practice, your team, and it's whatever works. The high-level goal of any sort of performance management stuff is we want employees to succeed. We want them to know where they stand. We want to correct issues that come up. And ultimately, we want them to be motivated and come out of that process encouraged, engaged, motivated to succeed and so on. So whatever works, works. If you're sitting there going, well, I kind of do sort of informal check-ins about once a month with people and that seems to work, great, keep doing that. Don't change that. So just know that there's no set thing like you got to do it this way or that way. It's whatever works. Oh, and one other thing with that, think too about the longevity of your team. So some employees that are brand new, generally a brand new employee needs a lot more feedback early on, because we need to be sort of correcting whatever they did at their last practice that maybe isn't the way we do it. And we need to really build kind of a bank of positive interaction and positive trust. Someone that's been with the practice for 15 years and they're doing awesome, you're happy with them, you don't need to do a performance review with them every single month, because everyone knows that they're doing great. And hopefully that's been communicated to them. They're happy, you're happy. So know that it varies a little bit based on how long someone's been with you. Okay, so let's talk about how we would handle something if an employee is not performing well, okay? So the way this is a 5-step process, and this is just a little way of kind of building kind of a sort of a 5-step structure to this process. So we start with whatever your high-level performance standard is. So let's say, for example, one of our high-level standards is that we want to provide absolute exceptional patient care, okay? So then the next step with this would be, we have an employee who, let's say, is chronically showing up late, okay? So that is the objective issue that's happening. And we can quantify that. We can say over the last month, you've been late 6 times, or the last 3 months, it's been this. So we have that, it's objective. Then we want to identify and sort of make it crystal clear the gap between this, because if you are late, then that is impacting, or that's in a sense violating our attendance standards, and then we can't meet our vision. And then the fourth step is the most important one. This is where you're really emphasizing the impact that this person's behavior is having on kind of something much more tangible. In this case, we have this vision that we want to give absolute exceptional patient care, and we can't do that because you're showing up late. It means the patients are waiting. The patients might get canceled or rescheduled. So there is an impact on our production, on our patient care, on our reviews, whatever it might be. You have to relate those two together. It's not enough to just say, you're supposed to show up on time, you're showing up late. You want to identify the impact it's having. And then from there, it's about restating what the standard is and asking the employee for a commitment there. Here's one more example. So let's say you've got a hygienist who's always running on schedule. They're never late, but they're having patient reviews that are negative. So what's going on? They're probably rushing. They're probably not taking the time to build a relationship and have good bedside manner. So the high level thing is exceptional patient care. The objective thing is we're getting negative patient reviews. It's then about identifying that gap. It's about saying this is impacting our patient care, it's impacting our production, it's impacting our recall, et cetera. And then asking the hygienist for a commitment to work on that and so on. Now, that always brings up a question of, okay, I sit down with an employee, I talk about something that they're not doing correctly. How much time do I give the employee to improve? So the answer to that is there are two categories of issues that would come up. The first issue or category is skill set issues. So this would be things like the person is making mistakes with insurance billing. They're not scheduling people quite right. They're not setting up instrument trays the way we want them to. They're having issues with sterilization, whatever. It's a skill set issue. With a skill set issue, how long you give the person to improve is based on what you think is reasonable for someone in that role, in that position, with that amount of experience and so on. Might be a week, might be 2 weeks. It might be a little bit of job shadowing. It might be some training. It might be a course. So it's whatever you think is reasonable. Again, could be a few weeks or something like that. The other type of issue is behavioral. This is things like you're rolling your eyes in the meeting, you're sighing, you're walking away from people, you're slamming cabinet doors,
Okay.
you're kind of snickering when people throw out ideas in, meetings or whatever it is. Now, I'm going to say something that might be controversial.
Okay.
I believe that adults have the power to control their own behavior.
No.
I know there are some people who say, no, look, if she says something stupid, I'm going to call her out on it. I can't control it. Well, the reality is adults can control their behavior. So you have an employee that's having behavioral issues. How much time do you give them? There is no time. It's immediate because we believe that adults can control their behavior. That means I should be seeing improvement on this starting first thing tomorrow morning. You don't need to give someone a month to learn how not to be a jerk to their coworkers. Okay. So behavioral issues are very different from skill set issues. Okay.
I think that's what we should call this segment, Alan. Adults can control their behavior. I think that's a good title.
Yeah.
for
The
it.
controversy. The controversy is that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about kind of what people want and how we build positive culture elements. So this is something called the Gallup Q12. This is 12 things that Gallup has identified as things that, in a sense, when these are in place in a business, you get really good employee engagement, you boost employee retention, you have less turnover, and so on. I circled the top 3 because if you really look at this stuff, none of this stuff is all that crazy. I mean, I know what's expected of me at work. Think about how incredibly basic that is to just tell someone, this is what your job is and this is what success looks like. Or even just number 2, I have the materials and equipment. I mean, just how basic it is for someone to have the right keyboard, the right chair, the right setup, the resources that they need. So folks can take a picture of this. Folks can think about this as far as kind of a little checkup, in your practice. Do you have these elements in place? Now, there are 4 areas that HR professionals identify as kind of key areas that lead to employee engagement. The first is connection. Now, connection can mean a number of things. It can mean that you have a friend at work or best friend at work. It can also be connections with your manager. It can be just connecting with patients. It can be connecting with the leaders of the practice. It can even just be a connection with the purpose, whatever the vision and the purpose is of our practice, what our big goals are. Someone can be connecting with that. So we want to think about, as the leader, do we feel like we have connection? Does each employee here have some sort of connection? That's number 1. Number 2 is communication. And this is just things like not leaving employees in the dark, letting them know what's happening, where are we going, what's coming up in the future. This is about kind of psychological safety. It's about clear expectations. And really a big one here is about communicating the why. Why are we in practice? Why do we want these employees with us working on all this stuff? Number 3 is about giving employees voice. And it's this thing of really encouraging and empowering your employees to contribute. As the leader, you want them to share their thoughts. You want them to communicate problems, ideas, positive stuff, negative stuff. It can't just be a thing where in the meeting as the leader, we're the ones doing all the talking. Now, the key thing with this is, as the leader, excuse me, you also need to be really hearing what the employees are saying and potentially taking action and doing something about it. And then number 4 is appreciation, and that's what we're going to dive into right now. If folks aren't familiar with it, there's a book out there called The 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace. If you've heard of a book called The 5 Love Languages, this is a similar sort of concept just applied to the workplace. The idea with this is that employees like to receive appreciation in different ways, and everyone's a little bit different. Words of affirmation is, saying something positive about what somebody did with a particular patient. That could be verbal or could be email. Quality time is sitting down with your employees kind of one-on-one and really having a discussion about the work, what's working, what's not working. Acts of service is where you step in and really help an employee with what they are working on, especially when times are really busy. Tangible gifts is where you are providing someone not just a gift, but something that is really unique and special for them. So, for example, maybe you have an employee that is really into basketball and they love going to basketball games with their family and watching, college or professional basketball games. So a gift for that person might be tickets to a basketball game. It's very tangible and personal. Now, physical touch, this is in the workplace. That chapter in the book is very short, very simple. It amounts to basically high fives, fist bumps, and that's about it. So highly recommend this book. It's very simple. It's a very short read. It's very intuitive. These are things that don't cost a lot of time or money, because I know, of course, everyone in the dental field, leaders and so on, pulled in many different directions. You don't have abundant hours and hours to spend all your time working on this. Here's a list of 10 easy ways to express your appreciation. You can take a picture of this. You'll notice that this is a variety of languages. So the first one, giving a verbal compliment, that's words of affirmation. Number 6, seeing if you can help. That would be stepping in and doing acts of service. Here's another list of 10 ways to express the appreciation. Again, these are just examples. There's a whole bunch of examples in the book. And it's really about, ultimately, it's about providing a variety of these to everyone. The book does have a test, and you can have all of your employees take the test, and it basically identifies for each person what their primary and secondary languages are that they want to receive it. You can do that, and then you can actually tailor your appreciation very much based on each person. If you don't want to get that carried away, you can just kind of do sort of a shotgun approach where you're doing words of affirmation with everyone, gifts with everyone, and so on, and trying to tailor it as best you can to each person. Very powerful stuff.
Awesome.
This kind of appreciation thing, again, it doesn't take a whole lot of time. It has a huge, huge impact on retention, happiness, culture, longevity, and so on. Yeah. Another thing that you can do if you want a little bit of structure around this idea of doing check-ins, periodic check-ins with an employee, maybe quarterly or every 6 months, here are 3 questions that you can ask someone about. Number one is what fills your bucket? So what is something that in your role, in our practice, that just you absolutely love doing? If you could do that all day long, you'd be the happiest person in the world. So what kind of fills your bucket? Number two is what is one thing that you'd like to see change? So we're not saying, tell me everything that you don't like. It's give me one thing that you would like to see change. And then number three is what is something that you would like to grow or learn into, something that you would like to, expand your knowledge in, a new skill, a new area of expertise. So this kind of is an easy framework. Now, here's the word of caution with this. Be very intentional and very careful that if you go down this path, recognize that you may have to take action on some of this stuff. The worst thing you can do is especially ask someone questions 2 and 3 and then not do anything about it.
Right.
Because they have now put you on notice that says, hey, I got this as a problem, or hey, here's this thing that I really want to do. And then you blow them off. That's incredibly bad. So if you go down this path, just know you got to take action on it. Be very careful with that. I love this quote that, this is not an obligation, this is an opportunity. So all of this stuff that we just talked about today, you are not required by law to do any of this stuff. You're not required to do performance reviews. You're not required to do goal setting. You don't have to express your appreciation. This is your opportunity because, circling back to what we talked about at the beginning, we're in this tight labor market, and all of these things, what they do is they build really solid HR systems. They lead to having a happy team that leads to retention. It leads to having a really great reputation as an awesome place to work. And all of that leads to basically faster, easier recruiting. It leads to better patient outcomes. It leads to all of the things that we want to do, all those big goals that you have as a practice leader, whether it's fee for service or new technology or multiple locations, whatever it is, you need a really solid team to get you there. And if you're having constant turnover and so on, it won't work. Your HR systems won't function to help your practice system. So all of this stuff too, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Recognize that these are just habits that you will gradually build up over time. It's like working out. You can't work out once and you're done for the rest of your life. It's something that steadily has to happen over and over again. So that is what I have for you guys today.
So good, Alan. I know that we've talked about this book before because I bought it last time we talked about it. But recognition in the dental practice is an incredible lost art. I mean, some of the best practices that inside the Crown Council who are recognizing team members, having a formal way of appreciation, it really is, I don't want to say overlooked, but it can be constantly on your agenda of a way. What are we doing now? What are we doing to find a way to appreciate the people in our workplace? So I love that. I love that 3-question check-in too. Very fun. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Yeah, great. Is it best way to connect with you, Alan? Is this it?
Yeah. Website's great. Feel free to give me a call at that 800 number if folks have questions. And yeah, we can do a complimentary consultation. We can check in on kind of what you guys have from an HR standpoint, what you need, see if there's something we can do to help. But yeah, I mean, in this day and age, it's just, it's investing a little bit of time. Again, it's not hours and hours every single day or every week. It's just some of those little things that over time will add up and it will set your practice apart from the practice down the street. And like I said, ultimately, it all relates to those big high-level goals that you have in your office. So, yep, we're always happy to help. And folks have any questions about employee handbooks, job descriptions, compliance, if they've got a tough HR situation they're facing, give us a call.
Cool. Thanks, Alan. Appreciate you and your willingness to educate and be part of the Crown Council. Thanks, man.
Yeah, you betcha.
Hey, have a great day.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye-bye. So good. I was just had that thought that as we finished, I need to compile all three of his presentations together in like a mentor of the month, so we can have them all together, and we can review them often. Great information from Alan. Highly recommend him and connecting with him on all your HR needs. So very good. All right, I'm going to share my screen. We've got 25 minutes, which is exactly how long this little video is. Recently, one of our Crown Council teams humanitarian teams returned from Mexico, and this is an interview with one of those people that attended that humanitarian trip. We do 4 humanitarian trips a year, and this is Grace Kemet. She was one of the team members who participated in this trip to Mexico, and this is our interview together, talking about her trip, talking about her experience. We did this yesterday, and I'm going to play the recording for you. All right, here we go. All right, hey everybody, welcome Grace to the Crown Council live stream. Hi Grace, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, I'm very good. Will you introduce yourselves real quick to the Crown Council?
Yes, my name is Grace Kemet. I am from Kemet Dental Design in Minot, North Dakota. Very happy and very honored to be here today.
Very cool. I had you were on the stage. I think it was 2 years ago when you
Yeah,
introduced
exactly.
you introduced
That's
our
right.
best doctor to work for. Will you talk about that for just a second?
Yes, that was for my sweet husband, Dr. Lindell Kemet, who has been a Crown Council member now for quite a few years. He won that award after we all wrote him a very lengthy letter about all the wonderful things that he does, such as, digging out our driveways when it's
Yes, in
getting
the
cold.
snow.
And we just got our first snow of the year this
Oh
week. So
man.
that season is upon us in North Dakota again. So he'll be breaking out the snow shovels here pretty
Oh
soon,
boy,
I
here he
guarantee
goes. I
it.
know. I after that annual event, I follow you on Facebook, and I think I just saw a picture of him hanging Christmas lights with a crane. Is that
That's
him?
right.
That's his
I know.
style.
Isn't
That's
that
his
funny? I said,
style.
let's hang Christmas. So she says, let's hang Christmas light. And he hears, let's rent a
Let's get a
crane.
crane.
That is my marriage in a nutshell, if
So
I,
awesome.
if I had anything to say.
All right, so you just returned. The reason we've got you on, you guys just returned. This is your first humanitarian trip, is that
Yes.
correct? Okay,
Hmm.
so you guys went to Mexico
Yes.
with our humanitarian group a couple weeks ago, and that's what we wanted to talk about. Grace asked me yesterday, well, what are we going to talk about? And I don't know. I want to hear everything about what you want to talk about, how you guys decided to come, if it was what you had hoped for, some things that you learned or felt, people that you met, and just I think it's fun to hear stories. I've got your pictures pulled up from the trip. But let's start with, all Crown Council members are obviously invited to attend we have 4 humanitarian trips a year. Walk me through how you guys decided, let's do it. Let's go on one.
There's a common theme that we always see when we attend the annual event, and it's that you notice that it's the offices that go, they always go more than once. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it's like once is never enough. And I always pointed that out to Lindell. And it's not just the large offices, it's smaller offices that go too. And so that always, for Lindell and I specifically, always piqued our interest. It's okay, what is it about these trips that make them so special that these offices just keep going back again and again, and they'll maybe start small with just a few of their team, but then they go back again the next year and then their whole team is there. What is it about these trips that are making it this life-changing thing? We want to do good, we want to do good in our community, and we wanted to do it from a global standpoint too. So we were excited to experience it for the first time. So we took the plunge and decided like, hey, we're gonna do it. We did the half of the office. We left half at home to hold down the fort and took the
Okay.
other half with us, and off we went.
Nice, very fun.
Mhm.
So if you were going to describe, let's say you got home and they were like, "How was it?" Somebody in your neighborhood's like, "Well, what did you do?" How do you describe this experience to somebody who has no idea what you're going to do?
I always explain it as it was compassion and gratitude on a level that you have never experienced before.
Mm,
Um, I worked in triage quite a bit as my kind of role for a couple of the days in clinic. And I'll never forget, there was this beautiful 13-year-old girl who was having so much pain and had to have 3 extractions and 2 fillings. And as soon as we diagnosed her and did her injections, I was holding her hands. She was so nervous and so scared and squeezing me so tight. And she went and got her work done. And you would have thought that she would have been, like, oh, I have to get all this done and so upset. She was so excited. She was so ready to get it done. And when she was done, mouthful of gauze, she came
Right.
running down that hallway, found me, and tackled me. And I couldn't, I mean, like, tackled me. She was holding the back of my head. I was holding the back of her head. And the interpreter is just giggling. And then he told me, she goes, she's saying, thank you so much. My parents could have never afforded this.
Hmm.
What 13-year-old runs to someone after extractions and says thank you like that?
Yeah.
To that level of gratitude is we just don't see it. We don't understand it in the States. And so it regrounds you and just reminds you what doing good really truly is all about.
I agree.
It's worth every second to go. Truly, that's what I tell everyone. It's like it was worth every second of being on the bus, being on the plane. Go for it. It'll change your life. Truly.
Yeah, I love that. And I think maybe you answered your own question why people go back
Yeah.
year after year.
Yes.
Although there's a lot of good to be done in our practices here,
Hmm.
something very special about treating people beyond their teeth at
Hmm.
these humanitarian trips. I agree.
Yeah.
And it's funny, sometimes there's a bit of well, we should be treating more. The clinic could be open longer. We could be getting more and more people in. And I love that idea that the culture of our group is more, well, what difference can we make for each of these people individually just to make them feel like Grace did care about you
Mhm.
enough that she came back and like gave you a hug,
Yeah.
and how special that must have felt. So
Yeah.
very cool.
And that's what I want to say to people who are worried about like their role in the office if they're not clinical. I mean, that was a doubt of mine going into it. Is
Mm,
how much help can I really be as
right,
front of the house and not back of the house? Am I just going to be, a babysitter the whole time? And how much help is that actually going to be? That
right.
was not the case at all. I mean, yes, I did do quite a bit of childcare, but the connection piece that I had and the conversations that I had with people ahead of time and the connections we made with the children that then connected with the mothers that
Mhm.
then made them feel comfortable enough to hand their child to you while they have care. And then watching these grown stoic men look at you and go,
Hmm.
wow, they actually really care. And like you could see it across their faces. It it changed the atmosphere of the whole entire mood in the line by the time of them sitting at the very, very end, waiting for hours, not knowing what to expect, to when they received care. Because of all the interaction we were doing, the education we were doing while they were sitting in line, teaching them how to brush their teeth,
Hmm.
interacting with their children, having conversations with them. I will say Google Translate is your best friend on this
Incredible.
trip. Bring your phone. And also don't let the language barrier scare you. Some
Yeah.
of my most favorite memories from this trip were conversations I had with teenagers where I would get out Google Translate and I would ask a question and I'd hold my phone out and go, Mira, like look, and I'd point
Right.
at it and they would, and like 5 of them would like
Oh.
lump around the phone, like, what? And then I'd erase it and I just hand my phone to them and they'd go like, oh,
Oh.
and they'd write back and you just have this back and forth. And that was so fun and different. And I can't even tell you like how impactful those conversations ended up being. So, and then watching them say it out loud and the adults very curiously looking over in line and watching you take interest in the youth. And so you do make a difference. Everything start to finish, whether you're triage, whether you're in sterilization, restorative doing the work, everyone plays a role in the whole mission, and
Yeah.
every single piece is essential for it to work. So don't be afraid if you're front of the house, come. we need you just as much as we need the back of the house.
I love that. Very good. I agree. And you are looking at absolutely the most unhelpful dental related worker at a humanitarian trip. And I even feel the same way. I find a way to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with you. Very good. Hey, well, I think it'd be fun to share. I'm going to share my screen for a second. I think it'd be fun for you to kind of walk through. Um, I, I mean, the pictures will hopefully kind of remind you of what happened.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know, maybe just inspire some thoughts, uh, inspirational stories. You can just tell me to click through. I mean, I know that this is Jamie Sled.
Hmm.
She helped lead the group,
Yep.
but you
Yep.
tell me. I don't know. Do you want me to just click through and you say, "Oh, this is
You
fun." You.
you can just click through. I mean, like this is the clinic. So this was our first clinic that we set up. The school's name was Corazon de Maria.
Okay.
Um, it was Heart of God, Heart of Mary. It was a beautiful school. It was closed for a couple of days in preparation for us to come. They put on a beautiful welcoming ceremony for us, and that
That's
was
right.
everyone had our names on signs. That was sweet. Here's the dancers that they had at the school. So the
Look
kids
at this.
had
You even
all
got
of this time.
a,
I
a
know.
poster with
They
your
made
name.
posters of all of our names. So when we got there and got off the bus, all of the kids were lined up on the road and we found our names. They were excited to see us. I mean, it was beautiful. It was such a cool experience. They were so grateful that we were there. Um,
I can't believe that this. I have served in some very not. I mean, look how nice this building is. This is
Yes,
awesome.
I will say I have seen other pictures of where other people have served. I feel like we were a little spoiled where we were. Truly. We had our generators going outside.
Yeah,
Bugs were not a huge issue for us on this trip. We were
yeah.
dry, we weren't overly hot. I mean, we were really, I mean, like
Hmm,
it was a beautiful thing.
very good.
We were very lucky on this trip. And then the community, so they've been to this location a few times, I've heard. So we were treated to this really beautiful like closing ceremony as well that they
Hmm,
haven't done in the past, where they gathered all of the town leaders and they presented all of our leaders on this trip with gifts of saying thank you. We recognize you also as leaders, and we understand that you're here on your own dime, on your own time, and we're
yeah.
so incredibly grateful. And that is something that they've never done before, that we felt incredibly honored to have been a part of, that
Yeah.
they are just so great. Like I said, it's gratefulness on another level that you can just feel from them just eking out. Yep, they gave all the women flowers, and these were huge
Right.
bouquets of roses and sunflowers. I mean, I don't and handmade these ornaments that were just beautiful. I can't wait to put it on my Christmas tree this year. We're gonna put them on and have them
Nice.
for every single year. But and the hats symbolize for them, it's like a significance of respect and leadership. So it was leaders recognizing other leaders, which is something that is very Crown Council like, right? To
Yeah.
recognize leadership like this. And it was such a beautiful thing for them to do, and a costly thing for them to do. So we were just blown away and honored. And
Hmm.
Jamie even received one that's typically just for the men to receive the
The hat, the
sombreros, and
white hat. Yeah.
Jamie actually received one too as our fearless leader. That was really, really special.
I love that. Yeah, Joey came home, told us about these cool white hats.
Yeah,
That is very fun. What a fun tradition. Very
yeah.
cool. Okay, let me see. That was day 2. Okay, I'm gonna click on another one of these pictures. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay, this looks like day 3, I
Yep,
think.
this is in Larnzard. So this was the second school location.
Okay.
It was a little bit rainier, a little bit older group.
Hmm.
In this one, we ended up getting a little bit more rural, it felt like. Same
Okay.
thing, we were greeted with signs, and that was a
Posters.
beautiful thing. Um, we also were partnered with, as you can see, some of the doctors in the area as well as some of the local dentists. So that just made everything go a little bit quicker because we were kind of a tiny but mighty group. We only had 19 people in our
Right,
Smiles for
right.
Life group this year. And I wouldn't say despite that, but even because of that, we just still worked fast and furious and we stayed late and we just wanted to see as many patients as we could. We still saw over 500 patients in our
Yeah.
4 days.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I mean we did work.
Oh, sorry.
That was awesome. So yeah, that was one of my one of my roles in triage. I would just stand over the patient and they would say, "Okay, you're gonna get an injection now." And so many of them had never gotten an injection before, and they said, "You just go ahead and squeeze, squeeze the bejesus out of her hands. You squeeze as hard as you want." And so that was like
Nice.
my thing. I'm like eye
Okay.
contact, language barrier, and just like, "Hey, you squeeze away. I've got you. Una Mas, one more.
Oh,
You
no.
got this." And then taking them to the next place and checking on them in line as they're numb and their spit cups and,
Yeah.
¿Dónde está? Are you okay? ¿Está bien? Are you all right? And just checking on, being like a mama hen with everybody. And yeah, it was great.
All right, here's day 4.
Mhm.
Look at this outside clinic. So,
Yeah, it was
so awesome.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep, they had a big outdoor area, so they had another kind of little ceremony
Oops.
for us. Um, yeah, that was kind of our rah-rah love one another like I've loved you. And that was the mission going into it every single day. Jamie would start every single day with a word of the day that was like
Yeah.
an inspiring message that she wanted us to carry into the day and keep on our minds and our hearts as we were going into the day. And that was always wonderful. That's our huddle. See, that was right before we would do our
Yeah.
word of the day and then our big hurrah. And then we would do clinic and hygiene was wonderful and going smoothly. We had so many surgical extractions. I mean,
Whoa, look at this squad.
yeah, this is lunch. At lunchtime, they even brought in some beautiful, beautiful local musicians to play for us at lunch, which was such a treat. All the lunches were amazing. Eric's wife made the majority of our lunches, and they were fabulous. I will say, food, if you're ever worried about food on these trips, don't be. I
Yeah,
mean,
great advice.
in our case, like between dinners and then breakfast at the hotel, and then Eric's wife is just the most phenomenal cook I've ever experienced in my entire life. I don't know how she can cook for a crowd the way she does. Everything was phenomenal, start to finish. So,
I
yeah,
love this. I love this band that
yes,
came.
it was great. So, so much fun had by all, and that's probably the best part too, is in the midst of all of it because we're all tired, we're all struggling, we're not used to not having our, water and suction and
Right,
things
right.
that we're used to having and having to constantly stop for spit cups and all of these things and not necessarily having all of the tools that you're used to having but you can still find the joy in
Yeah.
it. There's still all of these moments of gratitude and beautiful people and beautiful children and humor between the offices. I mean, we made friends for life. I know at first I was bummed that Jamie was really the only person, Jamie and Tom were the only ones, and Joey that I really knew coming
Hmm.
into this trip. Um, I feel like I walked away with a whole new family. I
Fun.
I can't wait, and I hope that they come again in the fall, like we've talked about, because I can't wait to see them again. It really is like making another family when you
I
go and
love
do one
that.
of these trips with these other offices.
When your team came back, when you guys came back to the office Monday,
Hmm.
um, I mean, I kind of know the answer to this, but what was the attitude? Um, I mean, did you feel like the time away was worth it for your patients here in America, and maybe why? I mean,
Yes.
how'd that change you guys? Yeah.
So what was kind of beautiful is that for my team got to kind of branch off and everyone got to have their own kind of individual adventure. Lindell was working and
Hmm.
had an assistant, worked with an assistant from Alaska primarily the entire time. Maren worked with a doctor from Mexico. Sam was Jamie Sled's right-hand man. My front office girl was loading syringes, handing her, like, she knew what Jamie wanted. By the end of the week, she knew what Jamie wanted before Jamie knew what she wanted. Working front desk and not ever being clinical in the back and not really liking needles, and here she is at the end of the week like doing every single injection in a triage. Pretty amazing. But that piece of it, and I will say I'm going to speak specifically about Sam now. um Having my front office, my she's just a wonderful, wonderful employee, but how often do I get to send her to the back to really like look over the
Hmm.
doctor's shoulder and really be in there and get to know what's going on? She got 4 days of sitting chairside next to Jamie Sled.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of no, I mean, and we've talked at length about this, she and I, the amount of just dental learning and knowledge for her
Mm.
own personal growth, treatment planning, everything else for her has grown exponentially because she learned so much from Jamie
Cool.
doing it and
Mm.
being able to identify things and saying, I always knew, I'm always, sending insurance claim for a 3 surface filling, but like I didn't really know what a 3 surface filling ever truly looked like, and now I know I know exactly what that looks like now. I mean, it's silly, simple things like that
Yeah,
that you wouldn't know unless you were sitting chairside. I mean, those
that's
types of
cool.
things are invaluable for someone working at the front desk who's not clinical, and
Yeah.
her knowledge has just been expanded by leaps and bounds from this trip. Maren walked away with like practically a new sister. They were calling each other sisters by the end of the trip, has like a
Oh boy.
lifelong friendship with this beautiful doctor. And and she got to, and that the big language barrier. So they had to learn how to communicate basically through hand gestures and symbols and eye contact all week. And she said that that's helped her even more with Dr. Kemet,
Cool.
of just like a different kind of style of like reading that she learned from working with this doctor. So that's what I mean. Everyone kind of picked up new skills that I don't think anyone was expecting that they were going
Mm.
to learn from this trip. Um,
That's fun.
because it forces you to be resourceful and think outside of the box. It really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
And because of that, if as long as you have the willingness to learn and you have that attitude of like, I'm here to serve, I'm here to be a servant, like let's go, you're gonna learn and you're
Huh.
gonna excel. Like how could
I
you not?
haven't I
Yeah.
haven't heard that answer before. That is really a fun thing, especially for a team. You know, sometimes that attitude does exist of like, well, if we stick together, we don't have to meet anybody new and we don't have to do anything scary. Just the four of us can just
No,
So
our
that is
team,
cool.
like, our
Yeah.
team really, it was like, that was one of the coolest things at the end at the airport when we finally got together in Minneapolis. We sat down, it was like, you tell me about the most impactful thing. Because we
Huh.
all really during clinic every day we're in separate areas. We all had our own adventure and we're doing different things. We weren't together. We were in the thick of it where we were. Um, yeah, it was amazing. It was
That's
really,
awesome.
really cool.
Very cool.
I
Great.
highly recommend that, team leaders breaking up
Yeah.
the
Breaking
offices.
apart.
Yes. Break up those offices. It's great. It's totally worth
Um,
it.
if there as we wrap up, I want to make sure that if you have anything else that you want to say about the trip or feelings that you had that you wanted to share with everybody that we haven't talked about, is there anything else about it that you want to talk about?
I wrote down 3 things. I said my
Okay.
my 3 things was don't let the language barrier stop you. When we talked
Okay.
about that, Google Translate, and there's always translators on the trip. Like, don't let that be something that stops you. I said don't let your role in the office be something that stops you because we absolutely need everyone. But the last one that I didn't mention was don't let your personal health struggles stop you.
Hmm.
Everyone has something going on, whether, it's like back pain or you're just coming off maybe a surgery not too long ago. Mine was horrible TMD and migraines and tinnitus, and I wasn't sure how that was going to interfere. Our team leaders do such a good job of checking in, giving people breaks when they need breaks, um, the smell of Bengay is everyone's perfume on this trip. I mean, like we between that and everyone brings like personal massages, like the little massage
Yeah,
hand massages, and they're like
yeah.
giving massages in between patients. I mean, like everyone is taking care of everyone. There
Yeah.
is enough downtime in between things to take breathers and rest. The hotel bed is plenty comfortable
Ben
for
Gay.
you to
Yeah.
get some good sleep. It wasn't like we were so worn out that your
Right.
personal health struggles were going to be like an absolute like no go. You can't go if you have something. So for someone who worries about something like that, which was a big concern of mine, you can get through it, you can overcome it.
Cool.
Yeah, and then if you have the power of prayer behind you too, that was a big one. We had a spiritual warfare prayer book, and every morning we got out that book and we read it out loud, and we read a spiritual warfare prayer, like a battle cry, every morning before we went out, and that set the tone for our day and the trip. And yeah, and it was amazing. So for anything that you're thinking is a reason to stop you from going, talk to someone who's gone, because I guarantee we can give you 20 reasons why you should go.
I love that. Grace, good job. I'm so glad you went. I'm glad it was absolutely positive, and I am assuming you're just going to sign back up for next year. So good job.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you. Grateful for you. Express your my gratitude to your team. Maybe we should have, man, maybe I should interview the rest of them. I think we might, it'd be fun to hear from them to
Yeah.
see their own thoughts about um, how it went and what they learned. So let's
Mhm.
do that. Let's arrange that. Okay,
Sounds
cool.
great.
All right, Grace, thank you so much. Thanks for, I know you're working right now, so thanks so much for being part of this.
Yeah, no
Grateful for you and
problem.
your team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good one.
Bye, you guys.
Very good. Grateful for Grace. Thankful for that awesome team. Thankful for each of you for joining us today. You are welcome to be part of our 2026 humanitarian trips on crowncouncil.com. You can navigate to doing good and find those trips and dates coming up for next year. They are filling up, and we're looking forward to it. So thanks everybody for joining us. I know we're a couple minutes over, so thank you, and we'll see you next week for a scheduled webinar with Steve. Steve will be with us for a webinar that we're looking forward to. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.